Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are getting their own show. No offense to them, but there's a lot of people who deserve shows before them, and we'll talk about it. Marvel TV Weekly starts now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, that's right. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, so Moon Age Daydream. Also, as featured in a little something called Guardians of the Galaxy. Welcome to Marvel TV Weekly. I'm Christian Bladt. You can find me at Christian DMZ, and returned from parts unknown, actually fairly well known, but parts far away. Kari Lane, where can people find you?
Hey, how's it going? Yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane, and I'm glad to be back.
Are you glad to be back? Because usually when I'm on vacation and I come back, I'm like, I could still be on vacation.
Well, it was kind of weird because I'm here every week, at least 4 days a week. So not having it for 2 weeks was like, am I missing something? Am I forgetting on something? I went to Louisiana and the Western Caribbean for, if people are like, where did you go?
Yeah. No, I mean,
but it's fun.
You got the shakes.
I miss the warmth. Oh my gosh, I get back here. It was 80 and nice and sunny, and I get here in Southern California. I'm like, it's like 58 degrees. Where are my jackets?
We're frozen.
Yes, exactly. Let it go. Michael Shirley, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Michael X. Shirley.
Amy Cassandra Martinez, where do people find you?
You can go to my Twitter. That is at Amy Cassandra MTZ, and you will be linked to my Instagram because right now I had to change the handle. It's a whole story. It's a whole story. Again, because
copyright infringement.
Yeah, there's another Amy Cassandra Martinez.
There's a whole thing, guys, but
I don't want to.
my Twitter.
I want to know more about it, but we won't take up the show with it.
Okay.
I'm very interested in that. Anyway, there's a lot of things to talk about this week, and by that I mean not as much as I'd like there to be. But let me start with an announcement. I believe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back on Friday.
Woo!
I only have 4 episodes to watch between now and then. I can do it. Well,
you're almost there.
I'm almost there. I've gotten through what I think I had. I think I've watched 17.
Through.
Yeah. Hey, look, some of them are very enjoyable, and I like this season. This season's interesting.
Right? Outer Space is good.
Outer Space, different is good. I love different. So, and where are you, Amy?
Yeah.
I don't know actually. Did you know that Amy started from season 1?
Yeah, I heard you were starting
I wasn't
so
sure
that's exciting.
There's
still
so many
season
things.
1?
No, I'm in season 2.
Okay.
Yay.
I have like 60 episodes to go.
Okay, well,
to catch up.
Look, it wasn't that long ago that I was talking about having 22. So
they go fast. The thing is that I'm trying to watch stuff for the Oscars.
Yeah.
So
you're saying that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not nominated for an Oscar? It should be.
what? This is true.
I mean,
yes, I thought you were going to say
it's cinematic. No, I said it should be nominated for an Oscar.
It's beautiful.
And, next week is, so next Friday would be the 100th episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Does that mean we can finally show some of these interviews that you did, like, months ago?
Yes.
All right.
Yay.
And
I'm
now,
so excited.
And now you'll reveal all the spoilers you saw on set.
Everything.
We also had a couple people from AfterBuzz go to that as well and have interviews online.
Yes.
So you weren't the only one.
Well, they went recently.
This
they
was
didn't
at
do
the party.
Other one.
Right.
Yeah.
This was at the party.
Okay.
So it was.
Did you crash the party and just film it? Is
No,
that what this is?
No.
Yeah.
That would have been way more interesting.
So we
Michael
had-
knows I'm right.
We had the set visit. This was, some footage that we couldn't share yet. And then most recently, this past weekend, there was the 100th episode celebration. We did have Yael Teagle, if you guys are fans of hers, there, and then Megan Salinas as well. So they went to the party for that.
So they got to go to the party. You didn't get to party, but you got some interviews.
I didn't get
All
to party. I was
well,
partying somewhere else.
We'll revisit that next week. And Michael, I know you're disappointed that I'm not caught up yet, but
I
look
know
at
I
the
want to
progress-
get all into it with you.
the progress that I've made. By next week, I will hopefully have seen the new episodes.
Oh gosh, that's another episode.
That's I know that's
added
one
on.
more.
5
I know.
episodes.
And so I got to try and find time on Monday to watch that
kids.
episode. I have 2 kids, one of whom is being potty trained right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's
it's like
probably exciting.
it's like having 4 kids. So, but look, plenty of time for Marvel. Anyway, so where we're going to start is the little bit of news that isn't like major ground-shaking Marvel Comics news or TV news, but I was reading and I saw that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur are going to get a TV show. And I kind of remember Devil Dinosaur.
Animated?
Yes, animated TV show. Developed for some arm of Disney, of course, because you know it all goes through Disney. I don't know, Disney XD. Who knows? They'll figure it out. And I remember Devil Dinosaur. It's a Jack Kirby creation from I think the very early '70s. Wasn't that familiar with Moon Girl, but we'll have Tony in the booth, who I forgot to promote. He is at Tony B Tony _. You might remember a different handle of his that we would use, but apparently it's an epidemic here on the show. People are having to abandon their handles. Hopefully Michael doesn't have to replace the X in Michael X Shirley with some other letter, because honestly, that'd be very disappointing. In any case, so, the first thing that I think of when I see Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I'm like, do you think she's friends with Gert from The Runaways? Because she also has a dinosaur.
Her dinosaur looks a lot bigger.
It's a lot bigger, yeah. Devil Dinosaur.
Like eat Gert up.
Yeah. All the Gerts at that school.
And old Lace, too.
Yeah.
Poor Lace. It's not so much a knock on that brand. I'm like, anything that people want to develop, I think that's good. That's good content out there, good for Marvel. Just found it interesting. And
do you know if they're keeping the same style of animation, or are they going to change it?
I don't think they're actually that far in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the producers is Lawrence Fishburne. So
cool.
I guess that's yeah. Well, it's and the other one is the other executive producer from Blackish and Grownish. So they're clearly developing this incarnation of Moon Girl with the Devil Dinosaur. And I'm all for it. However,
is this the only incarnation? I don't know anything about Moon Girl or Devil Dinosaur.
Well, Devil Dinosaur existed by himself. I think a lot of times what they do is, the way that some of this stuff ends up on TV, they do it with comics too. It's like, we have all these characters that we never use. So what can you do with Devil Dinosaur? So apparently, hang out with Moon Girl. So. If you're in the chat right now and you're a huge Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur fan, tell us why it is that they deserve to have a show before some of these other
They said
things.
they've never heard of them.
All right, well, good.
I've seen the image, but I couldn't tell you I knew the name.
That image seems familiar.
Yeah, and
but
her and the...
what I wanted to dive into is some things that I think deserve to have their own TV show first. So we are going to start with Power Pack, which Michael's just like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
I
don't know what
one.
any of this stuff is.
So Power Pack #1 for those watching on YouTube. This is from 1984. They are two brothers, two sisters. They are Jack, Katie, Julie, and Alex. Their last name is Power, conveniently enough. So they're the Power Pack. And they meet a horse alien who gives them powers and magic costumes.
I love it.
No wonder we haven't heard of them in a long
They were around for a long time.
Yeah.
And by the way, Katie Power, good friends with the one and only Logan, Mr. Wolverine, features heavily into an epic Wolverine story, Uncanny X-Men #205. So, but was created by Louise Simonson, who was a part of the documentary that we covered a few weeks ago.
Wolverine is such a sucker for like a tag along.
Yeah, well, tag along. I think he has a soft spot for young girls.
He's like
and don't mean it like that. I always
say that almost sounds inappropriate.
Well,
but I know what you mean.
I always figured that it was going to be revealed that he had a daughter, and lost track of her. And I'm not talking about X-23. I'm talking about or
Wild Thing,
right? Well,
and another alternate universe, Marvel 2.
Sure, there's a lot of permutations of that, but there's not one from his past that, among the many things he forgot. So Kitty, Pride, I would say really just Katie Power, who's like 5. She's like really little at the.
He does have a thing.
Well, he wants to keep them safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean
he's like
streets
a
out
very
there.
paternal instinct.
Yeah.
Like
And also Jubilee is another prime example there. But so look, it's a team of kids, and I think they actually made a live action pilot in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, God.
I don't know that they actually produced it, but I know that they were supposed to do it. And as I was saying, it was created by Louise Simonson, who also wrote X Factor for a long time, responsible with creating Apocalypse, amongst other things. But she and her husband Walt Simonson, who is a very well-known artist, drew Thor and also X Factor for a long time. The parents in Power Pack are just dead ringers for Louise and Walt Simonson, which I thought was kind of cute. But they're very much within the real Marvel universe, so it's not like this weird like, oh, all right, just some kids with some powers.
Who's their arch enemy?
Early on there is a guy called the Boogeyman because of the fact that they're kids.
All right.
So look,
That's good enough.
this seems like this could really work as a TV series.
Yeah, well, would you do it as a kid show or like a teen?
Well,
Because the oldest one
I would probably
I feel like a Teen
I would
Titans
age
kinda
up.
thing.
Yeah.
I would age up the older two. I think because
Okay.
Alex is 12. So maybe I'd go, all right, make
16?
him like maybe 14, 16, yeah,
Okay.
somewhere in that range. But
Animated or
I think, it works best as animated because let's be honest, it's expensive to do a
They
show
have
with
some
4
weird
kids.
powers too.
Yeah, well, I mean the
Like visually, special effects you'd have to deal with.
yeah, I think it works better as an animated show. I mean,
And
if you're
yes,
going to turn into a
children
cloud,
hours.
The name of it kind of sounds like Teen Titans. It's got
yeah,
that like
it's a
punch
Power
to
Pack.
it.
It's very catchy.
But as like real people, that might sound kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I think it works better as an animated
I'd
series.
have to look back on my comics, but I know I read some of it and I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so at the point I was reading this, I think I was probably 8 years old, and Jack Power was like 8 years old. I'm like, great, this is right up my
Yeah.
alley. So I like the comics with the grown-up superheroes, but I'm like, I think I like that kids can be superheroes too.
Yeah.
And I believe the children are our future. All right, just give them powers and let them lead the way.
Thought
So
you were gonna start
this
singing.
is my number one choice. I am surprised that nothing has been done with Power Pack one way or the other. The things that they have. Look, you don't even have to give them their own series to start. Have them show up on an episode of Spider-Man. See what you get out of that. Something like that.
There you go. That's a good idea.
I don't know. I would try that. Now, I know that our friend Amy on the other end of the desk has a late edition for somebody that she thinks should get. Now, do you think it's a show, a movie? Will you just say who it is and what you think they should get?
So I started reading a few of these comics. This is Ms. Marvel.
And this is the current Ms. Marvel.
This is the current one, and her name is Kamala Khan. I think it would be interesting to make it a TV show.
Live action. Or
I
animated.
I think it'd be cool to do live action. As long as it doesn't get too expensive. But I think
It's not our problem. We're not paying for it.
I mean, that's
Let
fine.
Disney worry about it.
I think it's cool to have someone accessible. It kind of feels that she's a little cooler than Spider-Man in certain ways.
I can't imagine there are any ways that anyone can be cooler than Spider-Man, but
I'm
I'll let
sorry.
you. I'll humor the thought.
There's certain things that I'm like, yeah, people need to be hearing what she's saying, and she just has really
Like
nice
what?
smile. I don't know off the top of my head.
I was gonna say
They're
you're
very
leading into it. That if people know nothing about it,
They're very inspirational. It's like
Okay.
those uplifting quotes that you would like
Cool.
hang somewhere.
yeah.
So I really like that, and I think that her story arc is a lot about being in school and being in like places where she just doesn't feel like she fits in, and she has these superpowers. So I think it'd be really cool to have that accessible for everyone. Kids, teenagers, adults, and of course like diversity. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Middle Eastern superhero. I
Yeah.
think whichever format you would do the show, I think that it's certainly it's interesting at this point.
She is gonna be in that new animated show.
Which new one? Oh, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
The one they just announced a while back, and they're like, we're making this. It's like all kids.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm
Did we
talking
talk about that on the show?
Briefly.
Would it be the new Warriors? Or
No, not the new.
No.
Which the new Warriors? We haven't heard anything about that in a while. By the way, that definitely went away.
But she's on a team. I think that's the one that I was talking about. She was on the team with like actual Captain Marvel too.
Oh, okay. Well, in any case, so then we might get to see her in the near future. Is the
And
point?
Squirrel Girl's on the team. It's whatever that cartoon is.
So wait, Squirrel Girl wouldn't be on New Warriors?
It's a cartoon.
So Squirrel Girl would have to be in two places.
They're trying to put her on everything.
Is she going to be
Yes.
on The Gifted?
I don't think so.
Would that make you enjoy The Gifted more, Michael?
I don't think that would definitely make it more cheesy. I don't know. We'll look into it.
We'll try and find out. And if you know in the chat what we're talking about, please let Michael know, because Michael's monitoring the chat. I'm looking up at the graphics, so I can't see the chat at the moment. I wanted to give Michael a chance to talk about something that I chose this because I think that this should be a show. Now, we know that there was a pilot for Generation X, which we covered on some of the Marvel misfires. But talk a little bit about.
I wouldn't. That's not what I would choose, though.
I mean, we're just saying, this is like on a list of things that should be shows. This isn't even like this is my first choice, but I think it could certainly work.
I think it would have to be animated.
Okay.
I couldn't really see it the way the new Generation X is right now. I don't know, maybe. Jubilee's a vampire now, and she has a baby. Cool. So, which she adopted. She didn't have it.
So she didn't have a vampire baby.
No, she found a baby. His name's Shogo Lee.
So it's interesting that you go to the adoption agency as a vampire and they let you adopt.
No. She found it.
Oh,
she, on a quest or whatever. She's always going off doing.
Somebody left a basket at the Professor Xavier's mansion, and she's like, "I'm." But
wait, would they make the baby a vampire? Like Interview with the Vampire with?
No, the baby's not a vampire. But I can't really imagine the old. Yeah, I know. I can't imagine the old Generation X as a live action, but I could imagine the new one, the Volume 2 that's out right now.
So you think that volume would work as a live action?
That one is so much in its time. It's so 90s. I don't feel like you could really do it unless you did make it super generational.
I mean, I don't think that they would.
Stranger Things, like with the 80s references, make it like super 90s. Maybe you could do Generation X.
I mean, I think that's a great idea.
Because that is, I mean, that is what that comic book is all about. It is like 90s culture, like from like a teen kind of perspective. But I guess I could see like the new version of Generation X being a live action because people love vampires. Mm-hmm. You could see that like in like in that Massachusetts school where they live.
The Frost Academy.
Yeah, Emma's not the leader.
The headmistress anymore?
No, Jubilee's in charge, which is really weird. I haven't started reading the new Generation X.
I have to admit, I'm a little put off by Vampire Jubilee.
Really?
I can't imagine that there's a good reason for her to be a vampire. Does she still have the yellow raincoat? I'm not sure how
she became a vampire, but she wears like black latex now. But she still wears the raincoat, yeah, for sure.
Does she really?
Yeah, she wears like black latex with like a yellow raincoat.
Wow.
But what I actually think would be an amazing thing for like Disney Channel would be something either like Jubilee or Kitty Pryde, and it being like a Hannah Montana, That's So Raven style, kind of like the way they were talking about New Warriors, making it kind of like a comedy, sitcom or whatever, but like following these young mutants, like they go to school with other mutants. I think it could be really cute.
Yeah, I think that could be a good vehicle for
diversity. Yeah, Disney's always looking to do that. I think even Miss Marvel would be a good candidate for something like that. Mm-hmm. Someone that's like kind of aspirational.
I mean, that could be a good vehicle for New Mutants, but of course that's already going to be a movie, not for another year. But still,
New Warriors.
I can't
really imagine that as a sitcom. Maybe like.
I think they've had to go back to the drawing board on New Warriors. When we did our first episode, Michael and I were both here for our first show, and we went through everything. And New Warriors was the thing I was the most apprehensive about, and I think everyone was apprehensive because it's like not even talked about anymore.
I think fan appeal too is really important. We could see that with Inhumans, like how quickly the fans were turned off by it, and the opinion really didn't change.
The opinion didn't change, and I think it was everybody was told right away, like, look at this, look at the Inhumans, this isn't good. Look at her, look at Medusa's hair, which she doesn't even have for almost the whole series.
Part of me feels like they're tossing this stuff out at us because we keep hearing about new stuff all the time, and it's like so much stuff. Mm-hmm. We're kind of at the point where you think it's gonna get made or not, but like part of me is thinking that they're doing this so that they can just get some kind of like free like
they're doing like market research by just throwing it out there.
Free market research and maybe like scrapping the stuff that everyone starts laughing at.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah. Well, I I don't know. I'm up for all these things that we're talking about. A live action
Sign
Generation
you
X,
up.
an anime. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to find
Any
time to watch all
superhero
of it.
show, I'm excited.
Couldn't you see it's called Kitty Pride?
I can't imagine.
she's like-
Kitty. Yeah. So it's like a sitcom of Kitty Pride.
It's like That's So Raven, but Kitty Pride instead.
You know what seems like a sitcom is Vampire Jubilee. Now that seems like a sitcom.
I see Vampire Diaries Generation X. Yeah.
Okay.
kinda stuff.
Oh, and that vibe, yeah.
Yeah, that vibe.
Well, another thing from the X-Men universe, and we mentioned this in passing a few weeks ago when filmmaker Patrick Meany was here. Both Michael and I are big fans of Excalibur, which is indeed just a spin-off of the X-Men, and at one point also includes Colossus. But if you're watching, you'll see Kitty and Nightcrawler and Rachel Phoenix, aka Phoenix 2.
Prestige.
She went by Prestige.
That's her newest name.
Oh boy! See, that's
You
how
ain't
far
caught up yet.
I ain't caught up since 1999. I've read a couple things here and there, but in terms of ongoing month to month,
I think Phoenix just had that connotation to it, you know?
Yeah, well, and then also,
destroyer
yeah, I
world.
mean, it's like the Rachel Phoenix sort of became this weird afterthought when Jean Grey was alive again, and
I
then
love Rachel Phoenix.
I'm a big fan, especially her backstory of being from the future, the days of future past future.
I love it.
And
Her costume is so punk rock.
yeah,
She's just covered in spikes.
right.
That's cool.
I mean, it's
It's like latex with spikes.
yeah. So that's two mentions of latex.
I
Right? I think we
know.
know
You're a
the look
fan.
that you're going for.
Yeah, they need to just make all superhero suits out of latex. With
But-
like action
So is
figures.
Excalibur like X-Men in
Well, yeah. So
in England?
they are in England.
Yeah.
And part of Excalibur is Captain Britain, who might sound an awful lot like Captain America, but his name's Brian Braddock, and this is sort of the later incarnation of Captain Britain. He had a very different costume in the 70s where you could see his hair and everything, and this is like
that's cool.
this is like a very 90s. Not to put you on the
Union
spot,
Jack.
not to put you on the spot, Tony, but if you could Google image 70s Captain Britain or Captain Britain original costume, it'll just. And then this is of course a point that I make all the time. His sister is Psylocke, who is of course a good, proud British woman. Until Jim Lee decides she needs to be Asian, no need to go down that road yet again.
okay.
But we will go down it again at some point, I'm sure. And
They
Maybe
got the
she's
name.
adopted.
They got the name of the. I
The
think
team?
of the cartoon Marvel Rising.
Marvel Rising. All
Okay,
right.
that's kind of a
think
cool
that's-
costume.
Yeah, this is it's a obviously an action figure of
Yeah.
70s Captain
Oh,
Britain.
that hair.
And
I
yeah,
love
Yeah,
just
that
got-
looks cool.
So it's a character who there's room for, you know. And what I think about Excalibur, look, very partial to Nightcrawler, Shadowcat, all these characters, but I think having a team in another location. Let's have a story about that. You know, you could do it as a movie, but I think it would work well as a regular series. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of instances of that. You basically have Excalibur, and you have the West Coast Avengers, who are set up here in LA, and then for the most part, everybody's in New York. You know, I'm sure there's a few exceptions, but it's really just where everybody is. And yeah, this is it.
She looks so cool.
Well, do you like that Rachel Phoenix has on the leather jacket? in
Yeah.
addition? Yeah. I like that she doesn't have the mask on that
She
she
like
did in the
stole
early picture.
Superboy's jacket because they just got back from a date.
Well, she's also way tougher than Superboy. Let's be
Aw.
honest. What you know?
I love him. You know I love him.
I actually didn't know you loved Superboy.
I have every Superboy comic book
Yeah.
ever made.
And then there are times though where Rachel goes with the Phoenix,
She looks
the Dark
good.
Phoenix. Well, the Dark Phoenix costume is kind of good on anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you really can't go. The
Maybe
regular,
what about on Professor X?
yeah, I think you know what he could work it. He could definitely. I
Who's the
think
girl just to the right of her? Is that the kitty?
to her, yeah, that's an interpretation of Kitty. Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe this
a
is all
cute
Alan
outfit.
Davis artwork. Yeah, you know, this is like downtime for Kitty.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a great opportunity to kind of have an international flair. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show.
So would the BBC make it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Disney is going to license things to
Yeah.
the BBC. Or I mean, at this point, technically, it's still Fox.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think the BBC's on board. But again, you know, this would be great if we had some kind of like ongoing X-Men universe series that was maybe not the gifted.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually like with an X-Men team, if you needed to have, other characters that aren't a movie characters, that's fine. But I'd like a story arc with this. It's the same thing with like Power Pack. You can introduce them and be like, do people want more Excalibur?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, that's like how they did with Xena and Hercules.
Is that what they did with Xena and Hercules?
Xena's character came on, I don't know what episode of Hercules, but was like a guest on Hercules and was popular enough and then got her own show. For like 7 seasons.
That's what they did with Facts of Life on Different Strokes, so obviously it works for everything.
I love the idea of Excalibur.
Yeah.
But I can't really see them doing it right now. I wouldn't know why they would do it now.
I feel like they wouldn't do it with these characters.
Maybe, we got this Meghan Markle thing going on, which is like big in the UK. So maybe like you would have to do like some kind of royal family, American princess kind of like tie-in, I think, to get Excalibur off the ground. Look at me. I know, right?
You're just giving away all these pitches.
The chat totally helped us out.
Thank you, guys.
Marvel Rising.
It's called
Marvel Rising Secret Warriors, and it will have Spider-Gwen, Quake, Inferno, Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, America Chavez, Patriot, and Captain Marvel.
Okay. And who in the chat said this? We should give them credit.
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw? No, their name is not Lockjaw.
Tippy-Toe. George Stacy, Gwen Stacy's dad, I guess, is in there.
Played by Dennis Leary in the...
I'll jump back and see who said that.
Okay.
So this is going to be a cartoon?
Yes, Dove Cameron's playing Spider-Gwen. And Chloe Bennett will be reprising.
Yeah.
Wait, Chloe Bennett is going to be Daisy.
She's going to be doing the voice for Daisy.
That's great.
Yeah, and for all of you Teen Wolf fan, Tyler Posey will be doing Inferno's voice.
Cool.
But I'm not really Boo Boo Stewart's going to be in it. And you're going to love this. Agent May, Ming-Na Wen, will be voicing a different
She's not going to be Agent May.
Hala the Accuser.
All right. So, and this is coming sometime in 2018, according to the graphic that we see.
And that's exactly what it says. Sometime.
That looks cool.
That does look cool. It's an interesting animation style, but this is exactly what we're talking about.
You know what it looks like Avatar and Legends of Korra.
Yeah, they should have these collections of characters. What were you going to say, Tony B. Tony _?
Is there any information if it's going to be like a full-on 30-minute or is it going to be like 15-minute like...
It's going to... It's part of a bigger project, but they're launching with a digital short series.
Oh.
And it revolves around Spider-Gwen, which is so weird to me. 'Cause she's so like...
What are you going to say about Spider-Gwen? People love Spider-Gwen.
She's like one of those things that's like not really official that you make official. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they're tying it in with that one Miles Morales, Spider-Verse that's starting.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be the animated movie. That's later this year, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm really looking forward to it. I love everything Spider-Man. So.
Do you love Spider-Gwen, Tony?
Sure. She looks cool.
All right, that's good. Good answer, I suppose. Well, thanks to everybody in the chat for really helping us.
Yeah, I'm pulling that back up. I'll find out who did that. You can give them a special shout out, Christian style.
Yeah, we'll give them a big shout out.
But before the show, we were talking about that comic book cover, and it's funny because most everyone on that comic book cover is in Excalibur.
That's interesting. Yes, so the X-Men Gold. Well, not. Well, that's a super zoom.
Storm.
No, that's not true. I'd say, so
Colossus,
you're right. Other than Storm and Wolverine,
Nightcrawler,
but so this is for X-Men Gold, the current ongoing series.
I'm just obsessed with the cover because my favorite artist did it.
Yes, and your favorite artist who is
J. Scott Campbell.
J. Scott Campbell, and that's the team that Kitty's leading, I believe. But this look is the mid-'80s look. It's Wolverine in the brown costume, a.k.a. the only one that he should ever wear. Storm with the mohawk and the leather, a.k.a. the only look she should ever have. And we have
You
Rachel
like that look on Kitty?
No, I didn't get to Kitty yet.
She's so Zorro.
I didn't get to Kitty yet. No, when she doesn't have the mask, it's better. But to be honest, this was at this point, this was the best costume she had. She had some horrific costumes. Yeah. And it's sort of, they went the Jean Grey route at one point. It's like, you know what? No costume.
I didn't mind her New Mutants looking costume
but she had
the skull cap
I didn't like the skull cap.
I didn't mind that.
I felt like, I don't know, I feel like the skull cap on women doesn't really work.
Special shout out to Sammy Halibrin.
Sammy Hollibrin. That's who gave us all
Marvel
the Marvel
Rising
Rising stuff.
Yeah.
I don't recall where she found the artwork, but one of our other hosts here, Alexis, she posted a thing of Storm, and Storm had white dreadlocks, and that looked really
I've never
cool.
seen
I haven't seen that before.
I've never seen that.
It looked really good. I'll tweet it.
A little personal plug. Alexis is on my personal podcast, the Blackcast, this weekend. We talk about Black Panther, and another friend of mine Skyped in, and we talk about the comic book storyline where T'Challa and Storm were married, which in real time lasted about 10 years. In comic book time, it's probably like just a few months. But I was just like, I was very excited about the idea of that. So, there's a lot of different looks for Storm.
They want to know who the green chick is in Excalibur. That's Megan.
Oh, in the green, that's Captain Britain's boyfriend and
Captain Britain's
girlfriend. Same difference in this day and age, right? Let's not be so
Black
gender
Magic
specific.
thinks a Moon Knight show would be cool. Which
I
think
keep
is
saying
weird.
that they were developing a Moon Knight show supposedly for Netflix, but now they're not developing anything for Netflix.
Hey Tony, it's on Twitter. We're looking up. So it's an artist. The artist is Hey Jen Bartel. But this is the
Storm with the dreadlocks.
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool look.
I don't know if that's official artwork.
Oh no, I think it's.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, this is not official artwork. This is like fan art, but I'm like, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Anyway.
I would like to see Storm with some dreadlocks. That would be pretty rockin'.
Well, I don't like when she let the mohawk grow out and she went back to the long hair. I felt like I was like, you had the perfect look. Why would you go back? Don't go backwards.
Looks good in the wind.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the mohawk looks good in the wind, too.
You know comic book artists love to draw that hair.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? She probably grew the hair back because Jim Lee wanted to draw it that way. Anyway. And, Jim Lee, who basically destroyed DC Comics with the New 52. So, there's something to be said for that.
I just read one of them, and I was real
it's not
sad.
Good. Yeah, I have a friend who big diehard DC Comics fan, and he was just like, he just couldn't read it anymore. But they're coming back with something called Rebirth. And funny that we mentioned DC Comics, because in our final few moments of conversation, I wanted to talk about comments by Mark Millar, who is fairly well known. Amongst the many things that he created is Kick-Ass, which there were two great movies of that.
I love Kick-Ass.
You loved Kick-Ass. You seem more like a hit girl type, though. I feel like that's the level of crime fighting you'd be able to do, Tony. Does that sound
badass?
Pretty accurate.
Yeah, I know. I mean, compared to Kick-Ass, you're like, why doesn't Hit Girl? Hit Girl should have gotten her own movie. She has her own ongoing comic book series. But anyway, so Mark Millar says that the DC movies aren't working because the characters aren't cinematic. And I guess he's saying that the Marvel characters are. I don't think that that's why the DC movies aren't working.
Yeah.
I think the DC. So first of all, Wonder Woman worked.
Yep.
So when you make a good movie, it works. Michael's not a huge fan.
Wonder Woman worked because Zack Snyder didn't touch it.
Zack Snyder was not involved.
Come on, some of the early Batman movies are really
Amy
cool
didn't
and
really
fun.
like Wonder Woman either.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
Me.
You.
I thought it was fine.
Well, fine's okay compared to some of the other.
Fine's not okay.
What do you think is exceptional? Like, it doesn't have to be a DC
Black
movie.
Panther.
Like, what's a superhero movie that you think is amazing? Is it Black Panther?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, not only because I just saw it, but everything worked so well together that there were no weak moved forward. There was a point to everything. No woman was weak at all. No man was, there were moments of weakness, and then like stuff happens obviously. Yeah. There was a lot of things that didn't work with me.
In Wonder Woman. Well, it's an interesting opinion.
Yes.
Because I think in general, people feel
It wasn't
that
pretty to watch either. And I think that's another thing that DC, I think they're trying to be everything to everyone, and that's their big problem. Like, what they need to do is go with their strengths. Look at the Batman.
I was going to say, the worst thing that happened to the DC Extended Universe is those great Christopher Nolan Batman movies, because those worked as Batman movies. But then it's like, great, we're going to have Zack Snyder make a Batman-like Superman movie, which some people love that movie. But that's not a character.
Killing it all, because he's like such a Marvel kind of character. And DC's way darker. And I feel like DC works in this dark way, and if you would embrace everything and come at it from that aspect, you would have more hits on your hands. Like, okay, they don't have to be like politically correct or
kind of like how
funny.
Watchmen was, 'cause it
Like,
was pretty.
Watchmen was a
very dark.
great film.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
but you
love
can't
that
really
one.
credit
The,
DC.
the,
with
the
that.
source material for Watchmen
is really good.
Yeah, like the Alan Moore story.
But when you look at their darker movies, they're good. Like Suicide Squad, it was trying to be everything, and like even though it was colorful, it was just like you didn't really know what you were watching.
how much did you
I hated
love Jared Leto Joker?
You keep asking me that, and I don't mind him.
I
But
know.
he's
I actually
like,
didn't mind him
whatever.
either. I did. It's not my favorite. I think. What was that, Anthony? Yeah. I didn't think he was that bad, and I
I
actually
didn't
thought
hate Harley Quinn.
I
I
actually
liked Suicide Squad.
I actually
but
thought the sequence
God bless
in
you.
Suicide Squad where it was the flashback to Batman chasing after
Yeah,
Harley Quinn and
that was
the
a great
Joker.
sequence.
I'm like, oh, why can't the whole movie be this? I want to see this movie, not the movie I'm about to watch.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say,
No,
Karen?
I said I liked it, but I had no preconceptions about it ahead of time at
Yeah.
all. And so I was like, yeah, sure. And yes, it's definitely all over the place. I do agree with that. But then that was okay by me. I was like, sure. Like, it's just very fun popcorn movie. You know, you're just going to sit there and be like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely not one of those where you're like, that was an amazing film. They
just-
need to make them more like this. You're just
Well,
like,
they are going to
okay.
make more.
I find
Yeah.
them best at their extremes, like when they're like really
do-
dark and depressing
yes,
like that,
yes,
or when
yes.
they're like super crazy and campy, like Batman and Robin, like with Uma Thurman, and
Yeah.
you know, like
Those-
people love that type of
I
like.
I've actually never seen that one. That's a George Clooney
Oh my gosh,
one,
it's
though.
such a
can't-
good
I like
one.
all the old Batman
yeah, I know,
movies.
I don't like
I
him, but
I
No,
liked
all the 90s ones are so
I
fun.
liked Val
they're
Kilmer
fun.
as Batman.
Yeah.
That's a short list of people who I think feel that way, but I thought Val Kilmer was.
He's a good
my
Batman.
favorite Batman.
He's your favorite Batman. I thought he was the best Bruce Wayne of the original
Mm-hmm.
ones. I think Michael Keaton was a good Batman, but
Those were
not
so
my favorite.
campy and
Yeah.
fun and like really just kind of exploited all the good goofy stuff from
Yeah.
the comics.
Well, and then just to bring it back for what we're actually talking about, I think that at least those movies were sort of focused. Having this extended universe is not working out for DC. They ought to take a page from how Marvel made it work, and I think they're already too deep in. I don't know how they're going to figure their way out. They're going to do another Wonder Woman movie. They've already shot the Aquaman movie, so that's all they can do.
They're doing Shazam too.
Shazam, I think, is going to be the right tone. I think Zachary Levi is Shazam, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
So if you can be a little bit more lighthearted, but like the
The
best
Rock's
thing,
gonna be in it though. Come on.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Isn't he the bad
Is that
guy?
confirmed? I don't think
I
that's
thought
confirmed.
I don't know that's.
I think he's playing the villain.
No,
Interesting.
They wanted him to play Black Adam, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't
yeah.
know that he necessarily is. But that could very much be the case. But I think I'm not the only one who feels this way. Other people would agree
Shazam
that.
is so stupid.
What's that?
Shazam is so stupid.
I mean, it's just the movie could be good.
Could surprise people.
Yeah. I
He's like a
didn't-
knockoff Superman.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's plenty.
Whatever.
Of,
This is Marvel TV
well,
Weekly.
the point I was trying to
Screw
make is that I think a lot of people would agree that Justice League didn't work, but that the Flash was actually something that's like, well, his point of view made the movie a little bit more entertaining.
Yes,
So if they're able to
I enjoyed
hone
the
the
Flash.
sense of humor in a movie like Shazam, that could work. And Marvel, to bring it back to Marvel, because this is Marvel TV Weekly, Marvel does a good job at balancing the humor. Even Black Panther, which is not a particularly funny movie, there are moments where there's comedy and it works. But the perfect example is Ant-Man, because if you don't,
that was so
if you
fun.
don't turn into the humor skid on Ant-Man, Ant-Man doesn't work at all. You have to treat it like a comedy. And Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's like
I feel
Honey,
it's-
I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Exactly like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
You can't be serious with it. No.
No, absolutely you can't. But anyway, so let us know in the chat what you think about the differences between the Marvel and DC cinematic universes. But before we go, movie fans, do you want a single destination to find all of the best updates, news, and insider info about the industry?
Yes.
Me too. The best place to find it is on Popcorn Talks Meet the Movie Press. Every week, insiders Simon Thompson and Jeff Snyder break down all of the industry's biggest news stories, from box office numbers to celebrity updates. Sometimes serious, sometimes funny, but always credible, Meet the Movie Press is the ultimate podcast for movie junkies. Fans say it's a must-watch for film fans, a different side to film coverage, and wildly entertaining. Subscribe on iTunes to listen on demand, or tune in live at 9 a.m. every Friday only on the Popcorn Talk Network. 9 a.m. on Friday. I didn't think that they did shows that early. So that's a great way to start the day.
I cover it. It's great. I love it.
So you're in the booth for this show, or are you on the panel?
I'm on the booth. I'm in the booth, and I engineer the show. But it's a fantastic show. The hosts are amazing, and they work in the industry, and they always have really nice inside scoops and just great opinions on things that are coming out, such as they did a review of Black Panther last week, and they always keep you updated on everything, not only just Marvel but also DC. Universe and everything.
Well, I would like somebody to say about our show that we're sometimes serious, sometimes funny, but always credible. No one has ever said that about this show. But
Yes.
I don't actually know when we've ever been serious. But
I'm serious all the time.
You're serious about how much you love
Yeah.
Generation X.
I do. Shout out to the person that was sold this to me.
Yeah, did you bought that on eBay?
Yeah.
And,
I think it's the most I've ever spent for an old beat up.
do you want to say how much? I know how much you spent, but.
I got it for a deal. I haggled with them.
Oh, you did?
$31.
Oh, okay, because I know it was listed for $50, and you're like, I'm not
Wow.
buying this. But it has holes in it, and some
I
of them
like
are
it.
I was
holes.
gonna say he would like
Style.
that.
Yeah, no, that's for your
That's his
look.
style.
But imagine having the audacity to go on eBay and sell a T-shirt for $50 with holes in it.
Well, it's old, right? Like in terms of a vintage find.
I mean, it says copyright
Yes.
1994, so I
Yeah.
feel like it's from
so
right
it's
around
a
then.
hard to find. It's essentially
Yeah.
vintage.
No, I
quote
mean,
unquote.
it's-
Air
it's-
quotes for those listening.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
from-
it's if it's 20 years old, it's vintage. I think that's what people are saying.
That's
Well, I think that's what
24.
Etsy.
Which we're
I think that's what
at.
Etsy says.
Then
Well, normally you think vintage and you think 50s and 60s, but it's
anything more than 20
retro.
years.
We're all getting older too.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah,
Now-
no,
Like,
not
me.
Amy.
Yeah.
Not Amy's not getting older. I've gotten oldest is what I've done. And by the way, if 20 years it makes something vintage, then I have a whole shelf of concert T-shirts that are well beyond vintage. So
Oh, I
good
want to
for
come
me.
look through those.
You want to wear a Whitesnake T-shirt?
Maybe.
The one I have,
you
the
can
one I
take-
have, you would actually. It's
I'll
pretty
take the
great.
Kiss t-shirts.
You can take them all and make it a blanket.
No, I gotta wear them. No,
Oh,
no,
you
no.
still wear them?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It made it
Maybe-
sound like they just sit on the shelf.
Maybe I'll wear one on this show,
There
even
you
though
go.
it's not Marvel. Anyway,
That's okay.
It is indeed time to wrap. Thank you, Anthony. And we have, of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back on Friday, as we mentioned. And, next week, I'm sorry, Michael, we're going to have to do a little recap on Jessica Jones Season 1 because we're a little bit over a week away from the return of Jessica Jones. So I'm going to put
excited.
Amy on that. You get to recap Jessica Jones next week, the whole first season.
Oh my
You can,
gosh.
do it in like
All
5 minutes or so.
5 episodes.
5 minutes.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
you don't have to go and in episode 3 this happened. Just sort of an overview. The stuff that we probably forgot. Because from the
The
trailer.
reasons
This
you
is
love it.
previously
Yeah.
like the
Previously
major
on-
highlights.
Yeah,
Yes.
previously on
Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Just
I
remind us of
like
everything.
that. I'm gonna
Or my
start it 'cause I
Hellcat
like it.
shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that Hellcat shirt.
Yeah.
I'll dress nicely.
Do it.
And of course, when Jessica Jones returns to the Netflix airwaves, there will, as always, be a Jessica Jones after show on AfterBuzz. Anthony, we don't know when that'll be posted. Though, will they?
Yeah, we don't know just yet, but we are working on it. So keep your ears to the ground and
Okay.
Follow us on
We-
Twitter as well.
And
at
we'll promote it.
AfterBuzz.
I bet we'll be able to promote it next week.
Yeah, I'll make sure of it. As
Great.
well as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After show on Sundays at 5. So once that comes back, we'll be covering that.
Nice.
Yes, and I know that that's like a labor of love for Zach Wilson and Jesse Klein, who are both on that panel, both of whom I know, and that seems to be like one of the only things that they do around here anymore. But that's how much they love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And damn it, Michael, I'm gonna get caught up. You'll see.
They want to know when Jessica Jones season 2 drops. Drops on the 8th.
Yeah, whatever Friday is. So I think that's the 8th. If that's not it might be the 9th.
I looked it up
think it's-
today.
Okay, so it's the 8th. So Jessica Jones season 2. And anyway, so that's everything that's coming in the future. Thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat and providing very helpful information. For me, I'm Christian Bladt at ChristianDMZ. And as I mentioned, personal podcast, The Blackcast, BLADTCAST.com. Lots of Black Panther talk the last couple weeks.
And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE.
Hey mutants, don't forget to like and subscribe our videos too, so you see when we're going live. And I'm Michael X Shirley. You can find me at Michael. Well, I'm Michael Shirley, but you can find
No, you should legally change your name to Michael
I'm
X Shirley.
Michael Shirley. You can find me
Michael
at
Generation
Michael
X Shirley. Michael Excalibur Shirley.
You guys know what I'm saying.
And Amy.
Yes, I'm Amy Cassandra Martinez, and you can find me on all social media. No, that's not true. Just on Twitter, at Amy Cassandra MTZ. There's a whole lot of changes. Just find me on Twitter.
It's a crazy day.
It is a crazy day.
We'll see everybody next week, but until then, Excelsior!
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.